And it's 6 o'clock, and we're going to begin our August Library Community Service Commission meeting. And this meeting of Library Community Service is called to order. And can I have you lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, sure.
Okay. And now we'll have Commissioner Yolanda lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. And now it's our roll call time. And Devon, please take the roll.
Commissioner Larios Fabian, Commissioner Tafoya, Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Cervantes,
Here.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia,
Present.
Commissioner Castillo,
Present.
Commissioner Fong.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, now for our public comment procedures. If you wish to make a general public comment or a comment on a specific agenda item, you are encouraged to attend the Library Community Service Commission meeting in person or via the Zoom link provided on the commission agenda. Public comments received by email have been distributed to the commission and will be entered into the record. Public comments generally are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. I may further limit the time for public comments depending on the agenda schedule. For general comment, we are now open for public comment on items that are not on the agenda and that in the City of Salinas subject matter jurisdiction. Comments on agenda items should be held until the items are reached. Election of Commission Chair and Vice Chair. The position of Chair and Vice Chair for the Library Community Service Commission are nominated and elected by active commission members to serve a one-year term from July to June. The floor is now open for commissioners to nominate one member for Commission Chair and another member for Commission Vice Chair, each to serve in their respective position until the first regular meeting of Library and Community Service Commission after July 1st, 2026. Self-nominations are acceptable. Now, could we have commissioners make any nominations?
And why don't we start with the chair first, and then we can move on to the vice chair.
Can I nominate Commissioner Nancy as the chair? Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
A
This
second,
is Linda.
all in
I'll
favor?
second that.
Could we take a vote?
Does Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia accept the nomination?
Not at this moment.
Thank you.
Okay. You're not
Don't
gonna-
accept.
So do we have another nomination?
I nominate Commissioner Fong for the chair.
I'll accept.
Can somebody second that, please?
I'll second that.
So you take it to a vote?
On the motion to elect Commissioner Fong for the position of Commission Chair, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Larios Fabian, Commissioner Tafoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Cervantes,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo,
Yes.
and Commissioner Fong.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Can we turn this back over, Commissioner? Okay. Now, we'd like to entertain the motion for Vice Chair. My nomination I'd like to nominate Commissioner Tafoya, Vice Chair.
I second that.
Commissioner Tafoya, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Can we now take the vote, Devon?
On the motion to elect Commissioner Tafoya for the position of Commission Vice Chair, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Tafoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Cervantes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Fong?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Commissioners have any comments? No comments? Any members of the public wish to make comment on the nomination? Okay. Now we go to our next item is the consent item to approve the minutes of April the 9th, 2025. Commissioners had a chance to look at it, and do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Okay,
I
we have-
second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote?
On the motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2025, please respond yes or no. Commissioner Tafoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Cervantes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Fong?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, now we come to our next item is our presentation, ID 25-182, the Brown Act presentation. And we have our City Attorney, Chris Callahan. He will give us the presentation. We welcome you.
Thank you, newly appointed chair and other commission members. It's my pleasure to be here this afternoon to discuss with you a little bit about the roles and the duties of this commission, as well as some guardrails so that we don't get ourselves into trouble and making sure that we conduct our meetings appropriately, just sitting here for a few minutes and watching how some things. Is the mic on? Is that better? That works. Is this one better? Is this better? Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Just like I was saying, just sitting here for the first couple of minutes of your meeting, I noticed a couple of things that we'll need to correct going forward in terms of our process of engaging the public in public comment, but we'll correct those things as we move forward. So the first thing I want to note is thank you for your service to the city and to the community. Being a member of a commission, committee, or board takes a lot of time, and I'm sure that your mayor and council members are appreciative of your service, and I know that the city staff is, and so thank you for volunteering your time to support the Library and Community Services Department. So just to sort of ground us in where we're at as a commission. So in 2017, the City Council adopted a set of uniform bylaws, and bylaws are a set of regulations that govern how a body conducts its business, and some rules that guide how your chair and your vice chair, for example, are appointed, and some other rules for how you run your meetings. Some general points that I want to note with respect to those uniform bylaws. These apply to all of the city's commissions, committees, and boards now. In May of this year, the City Council took action to make the uniform bylaws also applicable to the Police Community Advisory Committee. That was the one committee that had its own set of bylaws that were in place for a couple of decades. But now all of the commissions, committees, and boards operate under the same set of bylaws. I think that makes it beneficial for the public to understand how its different advisory and legislative bodies conduct business. I think it's easier for the appointees to understand how to conduct business, and it's certainly easy for your staff to engage with you all. There are 7 members of all of the commissions, committees, and boards, with the exception of a couple, and you're appointed by the mayor and the city council at large. That means that the mayor and the city council can appoint members from any district within the city. It used to be that the appointees needed to come from the appointing council member's district. That's not the case anymore. So council members can reach into any area of the city and find volunteers who are willing to serve. You have a chair and a vice chair that are elected annually. We just saw that take place. And you serve for 1 year, and you're limited to 2 consecutive terms. So conceivably, Chair Fong could serve for 2 years as chair, and Commissioner Tafoya could serve as 2 years as vice chair. Again, we'll see in July of next year what happens with that, but those are the limitations. Your executive secretary is your department director, Director Lundquist. She prepares your agendas and serves as your technical advisor. So we'll talk a little bit later in this presentation about how things get agendized, but if you have questions or concerns about the city's library and community services department or this commission or any items that you would like to see discussed, she's your point of contact. Attendance requirements. I noticed that there are only a handful of you here tonight, and we're missing a couple of members. Quorums are a problem. The uniform bylaws require that you attend at least 75% of the meetings on a calendar year. If you don't meet that requirement, then you are subject to removal from the commission. So I would just say stay engaged and make sure that you communicate with Director Lundquist with respect to your attendance at the meetings and any absences which may be excused or unexcused. A quorum is a majority of the appointed members, so there are 7 appointed members, and so a quorum would be 4 of you. You cannot conduct any business unless 4 of you are present here or virtually under some circumstances. Any less than that, you can't have a meeting, and so it's important that we have at least a quorum of you so that the Library and Community Services Commission can conduct its business. In order for you to take any action on any items, you need to have a majority of that quorum. So for example, there are 5 of you here tonight, a majority would be 3. So at least 3 of you would need to vote in favor of any item in order for it to pass. If there were 4, it would still be 3 because you need a majority of that body to conduct business. So I wanted to sort of ground you in what the municipal code has provided with respect to your general duty and to your specific duties. Your general duty is to render advice and make recommendations to the city council and the city manager, and while it's not explicit in the code, that would be to your department director as well. So that's what we expect to come out of these meetings, is for you to make decisions and make recommendations to the council and to the administrative staff with respect to items under your special duties. And your special duties pertain to the library facilities and the recreation and the park facilities. You may have other things on your mind, like tax measures, like community events that don't necessarily fall under this commission. Those things are outside of the scope of what you should be discussing in your meetings, and they probably will not show up on your agendas, so it's probably something we won't need to worry about. But as you're framing your questions and your comments and your future agenda item requests, make sure that they are focused on these specific duties that are outlined in the code. So a couple of areas of state law that I want to discuss are the Brown Act and the Public Records Act. And these are state laws that are applicable to all of the legislative bodies, including the City Council and some advisory bodies. And the goal is to promote transparency. It's so that the public can see for themselves what we're doing. The Brown Act, we'll talk about in a little greater detail, is the requirement that we conduct all of our business at open and public meetings. And I've provided a link there to a guide that's prepared by Cal Cities, formerly the League of California Cities. It's a pretty extensive and comprehensive overview and review of the Brown Act. If you're interested, it's a couple 100 pages long. I just offer it up in case you're interested and have some time to review it. But we'll talk about the basics tonight. The other piece of California law that we'll talk about now, and we won't spend much greater detail on, is the Public Records Act. As members of a legislative body, any communications that you put in writing, whether that be via text, email, telephone calls, voicemail, as they pertain to the business of this committee, are public records. So that's true whether it shows up on your personal phone, your personal email account, or on a city-issued email account. And I don't believe that you have city-issued email accounts, so any city commission business that you discuss via email is subject to disclosure pursuant to a Public Records Act request. So the advice that I give the council and all of the commissions, committees, and boards is, and staff for that matter, if you do not want it published in the newspaper, do not put it in writing. So you need to be very careful about what you put in writing. I think that's just some general advice that we should all take into account, but make sure that when you conduct business that pertains to this commission, that you do it at these open and public meetings and not via email unless you want those things disclosed publicly. Again, there's a link to an extensive document prepared by Cal Cities on the Public Records Act if you're interested in learning some more about that piece of legislation. So as it pertains to the Brown Act, you are a legislative body. You are a legislative body because you are designated as a commission by the City Council and codified in the municipal code. By virtue of that, you are subject to the Brown Act, and so all of your meetings need to be open in public. This applies to any legislative body that's established by the council, including the council themselves, whether you're decision-making or advisory, if you're created by charter, ordinance, resolution, or other formal action of a legislative body. The mayor has authority to create ad hoc committees that are not Brown Act committees. That's something that's unique to the authority of the mayor, and so long as there isn't a majority of council members or committee members appointed, for example, those would not necessarily be subject to the Brown Act. And it happens quite frequently where business is conducted in those ad hoc meetings, but they have to have a limited term and a limited scope of authority. So let's talk about what a meeting is. A meeting is a majority of this commission getting together and discussing business that you would normally transact in public. So anything that's pertaining to that general duty or that special duty on the second slide that we showed would be business of this commission, and it needs to be transacted in open and public meetings. So a majority of you cannot get together and talk privately about commission business. An example would be if 4 of you decide you want to get together at your local Starbucks. That's all fine and great, enjoy your coffee, but don't talk about commission business. As soon as you start talking about commission business, if there's a majority of you there, that creates a meeting, and you could be in violation of the Brown Act because it's not done in the course of a meeting like we're having tonight. Quorum is defined in your municipal code. We discussed that earlier. It's a majority of you, which would be at least 4 of you. Now, a way that council members and commission and committee members get into trouble is by having what are called serial meetings outside of the scope of an open and public meeting. The easiest way for this to occur is via email. So, for example, if Commissioner Tafoya were to email another commissioner about a matter of this committee's authority, that's fine. 2 of you can have that communication, but what if that second commission member decides to loop in another commission member and then a 4th commission member? All of a sudden you have a majority of the commission members communicating via email about commission business, and that is a meeting under the Brown Act. And that should have been conducted here at an open and public meeting. So be very careful about who you email and what you email them about. If it's anything that's related to commission committee business, make sure that you can communicate first with Director Lundquist and then bring those items forward to an open and public meeting. It's entirely appropriate for you to communicate with your staff, your director, with the city manager, the city council members, with your city attorney, but just make sure that there's not a majority of you on those communications. Assembly Bill 992 was adopted by the legislature several years ago, and this pertains to social media, and they're tightening down on what occurs in social media. Social media can create a meeting. So for example, if one of you has an Instagram account and posts an opening of a library facility, that's fabulous, please do that. But if 3 other members decide to post a comment on that post on the Instagram page, or like it or heart it or whatever the case may be, that the legislature has determined could also be creating a meeting. So certainly post information on your social media accounts. Just make sure that you're not communicating with each other on those posts on your different social media accounts. Otherwise, you could be creating a meeting. There are times where it's entirely permissible for all of you to gather without it being a Brown Act violation. Educational conferences like the Cal Cities Conference, conferences that occur throughout the year, those are appropriate. Social or ceremonial events are appropriate. Ensign Park is opening this weekend. There's a ceremony this Sunday. I think it would be great if all 7 of you were there at that ceremony. It's entirely appropriate to be there. It's entirely appropriate to discuss Ensign Park and how great it's going to be. Just don't start talking about other library and commission business there, please. Community meetings are also fine. Again, don't discuss commission business. The basic rule is there. Get together, socialize, do what you need to do on your own time, but just make sure that you don't discuss commission business. So on to another aspect of the Brown Act, the notice and agenda requirements. So the agendas are posted at least 72 hours in advance of each of your meetings. They tell the public what it is you're going to be talking about at each of those meetings. The reason we do that is to make sure that the public's informed as to what we're doing, what we're going to be talking about, so that they can participate if they want to. It's really important that you not talk about anything that's not on the agenda. So let's just keep that in mind as we're getting through our meetings. We need to make sure that we allow the public to comment on all of the items on the agenda. And that needs to be done before we take action on any item. So tonight, we took action to appoint the chair and the vice chair, and then we asked for public comment. After the action had already been taken, we did the same thing with the minutes. Before we call for the vote, we need to make sure that we have an opportunity for public to comment on all of those items. So that was the one sort of change I would suggest that we make in terms of how this commission conducts its business. And I think one thing that may be helpful, and maybe we have it for the chair, is a chair's guide, which sort of walks them through the steps. If you have one, I would just suggest following that to make sure that we don't just make a mistake. You can request that matters be placed on future agendas. You cannot request during a meeting that a matter be placed on that night's agenda. So once the agenda is set, it's set for that evening, and you can't discuss anything outside of the scope of that agenda. You can, however, at the end of your meeting where it says future agenda items and other commissioner comments, make requests of your director, your executive secretary. You can say, I'm interested in hearing about this park, Director Lundquist. I'd like to have that on a future agenda. And then she'll consider that and get that on an agenda when she has the information ready to discuss. So that would be the appropriate time for you to bring up other issues that you're concerned about on future agendas. There are 5 occasions where you can participate remotely. I think during the COVID era, we got used to participating via Zoom, and that was entirely appropriate during that. But now that that has ended, the emergency declarations have gone away. Remote participation via Zoom is only allowed now in emergency situations where you're suffering from some contagious disease, or your family has some emergency illness or something like that. You can participate via Zoom, but you need to just let us know ahead of time so that we can put that information on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, you can still travel and participate via teleconference. Again, you need to let us know, because in those situations, you need to post to the agenda at the location where you'll be and make sure that we note it on the agenda. So there are some opportunities for remote participation. They're unique depending on the circumstances. So if you find yourself in that situation, just communicate with Director Lundquist and we can sort out how you may participate remotely if that's something that you're interested in. There are penalties and remedies for violation of the Brown Act. The district attorney gets involved in those situations, and they send, first of all, some strongly worded letters that you've done something wrong. There is a requirement that if we have violated the Brown Act, that we cure and correct it. And what that means is we'd have to put it on the agenda. We'd have to tell the public how we violated the Brown Act. We'd have to undo the previous action that's in violation of the Brown Act and then correct it all at a public meeting. So we've had to do this a couple of times. It's kind of embarrassing. And so that's why if we follow these rules about how we communicate with each other and how we communicate with the public, we won't find ourselves in this situation. Conduct of meetings. So we are all subject to Robert's Rules of Order, and that's a really lengthy sort of tome on how parliaments or how committees like this or commissions like this conduct their business. What I've provided for you in your packets is something called Rosenberg's Rules of Order. It looks like this, and it's put out by Cal Cities, and it's about 9 pages, and it's a very succinct explanation of the basics of Robert's Rules of Order. So if you have some questions about how meetings are conducted, how to make motions, how to bring things up at a commission, I would suggest reading this simple 9 pages. I think it provides the basics in an easily digestible form. This is what I recommend to the council and to the other commissions and committees and boards as an easy way of getting your hands around the rules. Your chair is the person who guides your meetings. This is the presiding officer, as the mayor is the presiding officer, and so you need to wait until the chair calls on you and recognizes you before you make comments, before you make a motion. The chair will also engage with the public and let them know when it's time for the public to come up and have their conversation with the commission, and it will be the chair who calls for the vote. And so just as you're thinking about the order of speaking, it falls on you, Chair Fong, to sort of control the meeting and control when folks speak and when they don't speak. Consider yourself the mayor of the Library and Community Services Commission. Another piece of information that I provided for you is a cheat sheet, and it should be on the dais at each of your seats, or it may be in the drawer. And what we've done here is provide a list of the types of motions that we see on a regular basis. So this is an easy cheat sheet if you're worried about or concerned or want to just understand how to make a substitute motion, for example, that's on this list. It tells you how to do that, when it's proper to do that. And so I would suggest just taking a look at this simple 2-page sheet so that you can get some additional information about how to make motions. All of the commissions, committees, and boards, as well as the city council, are subject to the rules of decorum, and these have been in place for a few years. They were adopted by the council in 2015, and these established the ground rules for how we engage with each other on a professional basis. The expectation is that we treat each other and that we treat the public with respect. And so we need to make sure that we are familiar with these rules of decorum and that we follow them. I just want to note that we are in the process of updating these now. There will be changes to these. And when we do have those changes, we will make sure that we come back and we explain them to you so that you can understand the differences between what the council may adopt, should they adopt the recommended changes, and what you have in place now. There are some rules for if, for example, the public starts to get a little bit rambunctious. There's a script that the chair would need to read in order to get things back under control. I've also provided you something from the Institute for Local Government about ethics, laws, and principles for public servants. It looks like this, and it has some of the basic ethics rules that we're all subject to. I believe that you all have to go through your AB 1234 training every 2 years anyways, so that you get some grounding in the state's ethics rules that apply to all of us as local officials. I would suggest also reading this IMLA ethics principles. It's a few pages. It again provides some general basic information about ethics that we're all subject to. The city has both a logo and a seal. The seal is on the bottom right and the logo is on the top left. The city seal is used only for official city business. So you'll see this, for example, on the mayor's letterhead, the city manager's letterhead, and the city attorney's letterhead, and that's the official communications that come out from the city. On other pieces of information that come out from the city, you'll probably see the logo, and that's the logo that's on the wall behind you. And this is for more informal communications with the public. So you'll see this also on our social media pages. But I raise these two things now to point out that they are both copyrighted and restricted as to when they can be used and who can use them. You cannot use these, either of these, unless you have the prior approval of the city manager and the city clerk. And so as you're communicating with your constituents and members of the public, it's fantastic that you do so. You are the liaisons between the community and your director and your council members, but just make sure that you don't use either of these in your communications on your social media or otherwise, unless you have the prior approval to do so. Technically, under our municipal code, it's a misdemeanor to use those. We have gone after folks for using them inappropriately. Not any commissioners, council members, or anybody like that, but members of the public who have used them inappropriately. So they're nice, but just don't use them, please. And so that's the end of this presentation. I hope it was helpful and informative. There's a lot more detail to each of these issues, and you're always welcome to reach out to me directly if there's any questions that you have or you want to talk about anything more in depth, but I'm open for any questions that you might have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney Chris Callahan, for the presentation. And commissioners, do you have any comments or question? And I could start with Commissioner Trujillo. Do you have any comments, questions?
Yes, well, thank you for the presentation. This is my third year now being on this commission, and every time I listen to your presentation, I learn something new, so thank you for that. I do have questions on the ad hoc committee.
Yes.
And its limitations. What are the durations that an ad hoc committee can be established for? Is it a year or until the matter that is being discussed is resolved, or how does that happen?
There really is no set specific time limitation or no maximum time. It certainly has to be focused on one issue or a set of specific issues and for a limited period of time. And so my recommendation would be that if it's anything longer than a year, then it's probably going to be considered a standing committee. And so we need to be careful about that. Ideally, your ad hoc committee should be able to get their work done efficiently so that we don't run into that issue. But that's a really good question.
Okay, thank you. And then question about the attendance. So let's say somebody falls under the 75% attendance requirement. What are the formal consequences? Does somebody get automatically removed and then the council member is, I guess, tasked with appointing a new member, or how does that go about?
We have never had that situation occur where someone has been removed for lack of attendance. That would be the consequence, and it would be either the appointing council member or a mayor, or the council as a whole can remove a commission member for lack of attendance or for other reasons, violation of the rules of decorum, for example. And so I think since we've never had it happen before, my recommendation would be that we talk with that commissioner. Maybe there's something going on in their personal life or family life or whatever that prevents them from attending, because by being appointed or accepting the appointment, it shows a willingness to want to volunteer and participate. And so we want to make sure that we work with those folks to see if there's something going on to where we can't accommodate and get them back on board. And if that's just simply not the case, then we would ask them to either resign from the commission so the council member or mayor could appoint somebody else, or we would escalate it potentially to have that person removed.
Thank you. That is all my comments and questions.
Thank you.
And now, Commissioner Gutierrez?
Yes, I have one question. Thank you for your presentation, by the way. For the social media, let's say that we all attend one event, and we all post something about it. So we can just post it by ourselves and not comment on anybody else's, and that is okay?
Yes, that would be my recommendation. So I think it would be great if all 7 of you post the event on your social media pages, if you have them. Great. Just don't go on each other's and start liking and commenting, because that's where we get into the problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, Commissioner Castillo? I'm sorry.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
And to my left, Mr., you have any
Oh,
questions?
actually, I did. You mentioned a required training. I thought I heard that. Did you say there's a required training?
This is the AB 1234 ethics training. I believe that all commission members have to go through it. Can double check to make sure that that's the case, but I believe that you do within a certain period of time after assuming office. And so we'll check to make sure that you all are compliant with that if you are indeed required to do that.
Yeah, I don't recall taking that yet. And
Okay.
this is, I mean, I still feel like I'm kind of a newbie because but yeah, so that would be great if we could get more information on that.
Absolutely, we will follow up on that.
Now, is there any comments from the public? Seeing, hearing none, thank you again.
No,
Attorney
thank you,
Cruz.
and good luck with the rest of your meeting.
Okay. Now we go to our administrative reports, and the first item is our Library Community Service Summer Programs. And I'll turn it over to Director Lundquist.
It's always our pleasure to come and have staff recap and tell you all about the great summer programming that we offer. So we have a number of our staff here today to do that. It looks like Ernesto is up first, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to him.
Good evening, Commissioners. As Kristen mentioned, we are here to talk about our summer programming. I will be covering the programs and activities within our library system. As you all know, summer is one of our biggest and busiest seasons for the libraries. It is really our role to keep a lot of our community members engaged, involved in learning through the summer, and we take that responsibility to heart. Most of our summers, including this summer, involve a summer reading challenge. So our goal is to promote reading, literature, language year-round, especially summer when students are not in school. We also do a variety of programs, including line performances, programs for teens, children, and adults, and we'll be covering a little bit of what we did this summer. For the reading challenge in particular, it is a month-long journey where both youth and adults get to earn prizes for reading during the summer. And our goal really is to encourage the habit of reading and hoping that children and adults read through the summer. Children are able to earn up to 2 prizes every summer. First prize after reading for 14 days, and then the second book prize after reading for another 14 days. Programs, we try to do a pretty wide swath of programs for all ages and locations. So I'll be talking a little bit about the programs that we put on this summer, which were over 125 programs over the course of 2 months. But before doing so, we did have a kickoff event this year at Central Park on May 31st. And that was really to highlight what the entire department has available for residents to participate, to sign up, and to be engaged. We had over 1,200 attendees, including our director, a lot of our council members, our mayor was there, as well as hundreds of children and families really enjoying the day. So we had a lot of free activities in addition to doing signups. We had free ice cream given away. We had activities for little ones, huge inflatable bounce houses and obstacle courses. I'm not sure if Rec Center will be talking about that as well, recreation. But it's really just an event to highlight and kick off the summer with a big celebration. And it was our biggest yet. It's the first time bringing it back since pre-COVID, and we hope to continue that in future years. So as far as programs, we try to do a variety of both in-person at the library as well as community-wide programs, going out to parks, going out to community partners and multiple locations so that our programs are accessible to a wide range of our residents. So here are just a few samples of the programs that we put on. Some of them were passive activities where we encourage residents to come to our libraries and use libraries as a place to hang out, to really use and enjoy activities, board games, video games, read, conversation groups, play groups, playtime with other neighbors, as well as other registration-based programs like gaming tournaments. We had story time in the park at various parks throughout the city, and we also had some DIY take-home kits where, if you can't be at the library for a long time, you can still pick something up and participate at home. We also hosted 2 Family Game Fest events, and this is really just having a larger, bigger event to encourage our families to visit us. Most of these are done closer to after hours, where working families may not be able to attend our programs during their regular working days. So we stay open a little bit longer, and we make the space just available for our families the closest to the general public. But anyone with children can come to the library, make the entire library their own. And some of the spaces were taken up by obstacle courses, big balloon jump houses, and using both indoor and outdoor spaces of the library just to highlight and build community. We also had a wide range of performances at all the branches. We usually bring different performers to just have have within our branches. This year we had a magician, we had a story time and storytelling activity, as well as more theater art and theater performances. So we try to really offer our community different types of events and activities and programs that aren't offered year-round within the libraries. And most of these events bring over 100 attendees to each of the events. We have also been doing our part to get our little ones ready for school. This is our 8th year, I believe, doing our Kinder Boot Camp program, which is really geared at getting those kids who haven't had formal preschool or childcare attendance in the early years. And the goal really is to get them ready for the first day of preschool or kindergarten. So we have 3 different sessions towards the end of the summer, right before school starts, to get them ready to learn the routines of what it is like to go to a classroom, what it's like to line up, transition from activities. But really the most important thing is how to leave their parents at the door and go into a place where they'll be learning. So it really is just a focus of trying to get little ones and their parents comfortable with entering school every year. And these are designed to be in small group settings so that there is a high ratio of instructors or teachers to students. So we usually have at least 4 staff attending up to 12 to 14 youth at each of the programs. We also had quite a few activities for adults. We had some maker kits. We had cooking demonstrations. We had hands-on activities. We had a lavender making workshop. We had armchair travel where we partnered with recreation staff to provide programming to our seniors at the Bread Box, and really expose and do partnership between libraries and the center to really share resources, share what they can also participate within the library, but going to a place where we know they're gathering already. So this year's activity was they were able to learn about different locations throughout the world that they selected, and part of that involves some snack tasting and food culture as well. As I mentioned, we also really lean on working with the community organizations that are out there that are also doing great work during the summer. So this year, as we have in the past, we offered a free summer lunch and snack at the Cesar Chavez location, and that's working with the Alice Hall School District to offer that on a daily basis during the summer. We work with the PGA Museum. They brought some of their mobile vehicle and provided some resources of what they offer within the museum itself. Ventana Wildlife came in and took youth to different hiking destinations throughout the county, and they also did a younger outdoor program within our facilities as well for those that are too young to go out and hike. The Community Science Workshop kept coming to our Cesar Chavez location to offer science, hands-on science learning with their science mobile. So they were at our branches on Thursdays. And the Boys and Girls Club, we've been working with them for multiple years. We would visit them, including this year. We visited them every other week and encouraged them to participate in our summer reading program, offered prizes, and went to a place where youth are versus necessarily having them to come to our location. And then a new partnership this year, we work with Brighter Bites to do nutrition education and food distribution at Cesar Chavez and at El Gavilan Library. So we gave out over 100 bags of produce and vegetables to participating families at both locations. And so in summary, we had over 7,600 participants or attendees within the summer months, mostly June and July. We had over 1,800 summer reading signups specifically, and we gave away 1,000, almost 1,600 books to participants, both children and adults. And we gave out almost 1,000 lunch and snack at Cesar Chavez. And I'd like to thank the Friends of the Salinas Public Library, who every summer since I've been around have been donating for our summer reading prizes. So they helped get almost 1,000 of these 1,600 books that we gave away this summer. So we're very grateful to their support. And that is my section. We will take questions at the end of the entire presentation, and I will hand it off to Vivian.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Vivian Salinas. I'm the Community Services Manager for the Rec Park Division. And tonight I'll be presenting on all the fun recreation summer activities held for June and July. We serve ages from as young as 3, all the way to our adult seniors. So I'm going to start off with summer fun at the rec. So every summer, our team comes up with 8 themed weeks. And in those theme weeks, we come up with specific activities related around those themes. We held summer program at Central Park, El Dorado Park, and the Breadbox Recreation Center. Some of those themed weeks, as you can see with some of the photos shown here, we did Beyond the Lab Coat, where they were able to design a lab coat. They actually made a solar oven, which is the photo up there. We did Roar and Explore Week, where they were able to do dino clay models. We had one of our part-time staff go to each facility and do a reptile show. He was able to bring a couple of reptiles, and, like the hissing cockroaches came out. We had lizards. So we had a variety of reptiles, and it was a really good show. And then we did Dive Into Adventure Week, where youth were able to make mason jar aquariums that glowed in the dark. Here you see some youth with their coffee filter jellyfishes. And so we had many themed weeks and a lot of great fun surrounding each of these weeks. We also did lunch and snack, which we partner every summer with the LSL School District Kitchen, and they provide us with snack and lunch for the youth. This year we only did El Dorado Park, and we did, that went from June 9th to June 25th, and so that is a free program to anybody who came in and wanted a snack or lunch during a specific time frame while we were there at El Dorado. And with these programs, two combined, we served over 4,000 participants. Some additional summer programs that we did Tiny Tot Summer Explorers. This program was held July 7th through August 1st. This program in particular was for ages 3 to 5 at a minimal cost. And they were able to come in from 9 to 11:30 and do some fun activities. So not focusing around like specific curriculum, but we did do like outside play. They were able to engage in a variety, group play and story time and a variety of arts and crafts through the summer of July. We also did karate, which goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is a year-round program, but specifically in June and July, we did serve over 82 participants. And so here in the evening, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we offer a program that goes 6 to 8 with Sensei Charlie. And he comes and he teaches the youth self-defense, and they actually go and compete in a variety of competitions. And so, and they actually serve youth from 5 to adults. This class is at a minimal fee, so it is accessible for many youth and adults. And then we also did our senior program, which currently is located at the Breadbox Recreation Facility. And so we do a program Monday through Friday from 8 to noon, where we offer a variety of programs to our seniors, which is free to them. They come in and they are, if they're eligible, they are able to do our lunch program, which is provided by Meals on Wheels. We have bingo, we have loteria, we have a variety of presentations that are done maybe by CHP. As Ernesto had mentioned, we worked with the library where they're able to come over and present, and we've done it previously, which is called Armchair Travel, and the seniors loved it. Got to pick the different countries they wanted to see, learn a little bit more, and they were able to eat some special foods from each of the places. And they really enjoyed the program, and so we hope to continue this on, not just in the summer, but continue it on through the year if possible. So. And then just with these, we served over 1,600 participants with these 3 programs here. Our summer sports, every summer we put on a summer hoops program, which is a basketball program for ages 9 to 18 years old. And this went from June 9th through July 16th. We had over 130 participants. The registration fee is at a minimal cost, and we do offer, if they need assistance with payment, we do offer scholarship programs to many of the families who do sign up. And so they get at least 6 weeks of play. And so they have a coach, they come in. Depending on which age bracket you landed on, sometimes you had 2 games a week, maybe 1 game. As you get into the older kids from the 12 to 18, they did do championships. So we do hold that. So as you get out of the 9 to 11-year-olds, it gets a little bit more competitive for them. We also did clinics. And so from June 9th to August 1st, we held clinics for ages 5 to 13 years old. And those clinics are aerial flag football, soccer, volleyball, and basketball. Some of those clinics did run twice just because of their popularity. And so, you know, we added so many kids and added additional time. So we were able to take a lot of our kids off the wait list, which was a good thing. And for both of these, we served over at least 700 kids with just our sports alone. Parks and Recreation Month, which occurs every July. This month, we really focus on a variety of programming. And so it is all about the use of our green space in our parks and the recreation programs that are offered. And so I have a photo of each here. So we did Zumba in the park. This occurred a couple of Saturdays in the month of July. As 9 o'clock in the morning, it was free and open to anybody to come in and join our instructor with some fun, exciting music at El Dorado Park in the quad area. We did pickleball on Mondays. And so our team came out at Central Park and they engaged. It was more like a drop-in, so whoever was interested in coming learned the basics of pickleball. We also did treats at the rec. So every Friday we did something special for the youth. And so whether we offered ice cream, pizza, hot dogs, and something special out of the norm than what they're used to, just to celebrate Parks and Recreation Month. We also did worked with the library and we did story time. And so we were able to do story time at Central Park, El Dorado Park, and Northgate. And so we worked with the library, and they did the story time, and then we offered an arts and craft in regards to that specific book that they read. And so from there, we also did Rec Fun in the Park, and we worked with the library as well, where they were able to bring out the bookmobile. And the Rec Fun in the Park is actually a recreation program that's offered at a park that does not have a recreation facility. And so we did it at Northgate, and we did it at Natividad Creek Park. And so we offered a variety of programs, so balls, we checked out balls, we had games. You were able to go into the bookmobile if it was around that particular day. And we did this on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And then we also did a Toro Park field trip. It was our last Friday of the summer, and to just celebrate everybody coming through, enjoying our programs, we took all our kids to Toro Park, where we were able to barbecue for them. We took them on a hike. We did a variety of games, volleyball, basketball. We had a giant soccer inflatable out there. And so the kids had such a great time coming out and just finishing summer with a bang. And so with those programs, we served over 700 participants. And that concludes my portion.
All right. Good evening. My name is Monica Sardina. I'm the Community Services Manager who oversees the Neighborhood Services Division. This summer, in the month of June, we expanded our Camp Amor Community Service Camp from 1 week to 2. This camp is designed for students ages 13 to 18 and focuses on beautification and the environment. The first week, students were at Natividad Creek Park. Some projects the kids worked on were creating a community herb garden, distributing new wood chips at the dog park, and repainting the amphitheater and stage. The second week, students were at Sherwood Park. Students repainted the stage, several garbage receptacles, and some picnic tables. We also had the park maintenance crew pressure wash the yellow hat in 3 stages of landing. Their beautification efforts definitely gave the park a needed refresh right before Big Week. So just from the photos, in the top photo is week 1. That was June 9th through the 13th. And that was actually the first day of our camp. And then on the right side is Jessica building a community herb garden with, they're kind of laying the foundation there with bricks. And then on the bottom photo, that is students after they painted the stage at Sherwood Park. And then both camps throughout the month of June, they also did trash collection all month at both parks. And then also we had different workshops. So we had like a compost workshop. So there's some girls on the left there that are showing their compost bin that they made. And then for the week of July, or the month of July, we had our annual Youth and Government Institute right here at City Hall. So that program ran 3 weeks in July, from July 7th through the 25th. And every day the students kind of started with team building exercises that really helped them work on their leadership skills and presentation skills. We had different city leaders come and present every day. So you'll see Renee, the city manager, in the top left there, and then Dennis Donahue. And they just kind of talked about their roles in the city and what they do and different issues that we have in the city. And that really helped them formulate like the topic that they wanted to have for their mock council meeting at the end of the 3-week program. We also did a downtown cleanup during week 2. So we kind of split the kids in 3 groups and targeted different areas of downtown Salinas to clean up. And then at the bottom, you'll see like the mock council meeting that finished off their 3-week. And the topic that they ended up choosing was the unhoused population. So that was just nice to see that kids were noticing that around the city, and that was something that they wanted to focus on for the Yagi program. And then at the end of both programs, we always have like certificates signed by Mayor Donahue and a celebration for them. And then all of the students in our summer programs also receive volunteer hours for high school. So most of the kids that we serve are 13 to 18 years old. And then they kind of get all their volunteer hours done before school starts. So yeah, it was good to see. Just overall, I think all the summer programs between neighborhood services, recreation, and the library, just the amount of people that we served and just the different programs that we offered here. So that is the end of our presentation, but if you guys have any questions for any of us, we are here to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vivian. Monica, is there?
Monica, yeah.
Okay. And also Ernesto, thank you for the presentation, and thank you, Library Community Service staff, for all the things that you guys, it looked like it was such a busy summer for all. And I was looking to see if my grandkids were in some of the pictures. Grandma took them to some of the programs, so they really enjoyed it, especially the food and the meals. And I was curious about the pickleball, and I saw the pictures because Anna asked me about doing it at Central Park, and I said, yeah, they're welcome to do it. And actually, I saw the lines. They were all like very professionally taped. I mean, someone took some time to make them perfect. And I heard, I didn't see all of it, but one of the courts, they said it was pink. And I'm just wondering if that was true or not, but maybe they're kidding. But I saw it was really nice. Thank you so much. And I'm going to see if any of the other commissioners have any comment. To my left, you have no comment?
Thank you for everything you did.
And to my right? Yes, go ahead. You can go first.
So I had a question as far as the cleanups. Like, how do you guys select the locations, and then do you change them every year? Is it like an assessment? Like, I was just wondering, how do you guys come up with the locations?
Answer some questions. Hello, Commissioners. Anna Ambriz, Recreation Park Superintendent. So yes, we evaluate the sites. We collaborate with our park maintenance staff to make sure that we're being of help and not adding more tasks to their already busy schedules. And we do rotate them throughout the year.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nancy?
I have a question. Okay, so you gave us a lot of numbers. And for the seniors, I was wondering, did they all get together, like the 1,577 participant, or was that throughout the whole summer?
That was for June and July together, combined.
Okay,
Yes.
so how many people did the bread box, was it in the bread box?
It's currently
Yes.
held at the Bread Box right now. Our home
So-
site is the firehouse, though.
Okay, so how many people at a time did you have each day, kind of?
So it, anywhere from 30 to 40, and when we have parties, we'll go over 60. So anywhere from 60 to 80, because we do have monthly parties with our seniors, and so that number will fluctuate. And depending on the day of the week and what program is going on during that specific time, the numbers also fluctuate. So anywhere from 30 to 40 on a daily average, you'd probably see.
And that was just at the bread box, or was it in different, at the firehouse as well, or at the center, at the rec center, and I think it's El Dorado, or is it just one place?
So I'll help out with this, because I think it's been some time since we've had a meeting, and I don't recall if you had been fully updated prior to some of the last meetings being canceled. So there was a telecommunications project that was going on in the firehouse where they were installing antenna on the top of the building. And unfortunately, in the middle of that project, there was some damage that was caused to the facility that basically flooded most of the facility. So the Firehouse Rec Center has been closed since March as we address the repairs and try to get that back online. When that happened and we realized that we weren't able to offer programming at the firehouse any longer, we knew how critical it was that we maintain a senior program where we have a space, safe space where seniors can come and socialize and have a variety of activities and a nutritious lunch as well. And so we immediately moved them to the bread box, and so they've been there now since after that damage occurred in March. So that's right now where we're hosting our senior program. Ultimately, we will go back to the firehouse when it's complete. But I think this has opened the door for potential senior program at the bread box. I think we'll also be looking at, and staff's already done, I think some thoughtful planning around how, when we open our new Hebron Family Center, how we might also be able to serve seniors from that neighborhood.
Do you provide transportation for the seniors that are, like the ones that live closer to the firehouse than over there?
We don't. However, they do learn how to ride the bus. So we have a number who will take public transportation. A number of them drive themselves. A number will pick up their friend and help transport them as well. So they have been able to, I think, shift locations well. We have, we may have seen a slight drop at the bread box, but for the most part, it's the same core group who came to the firehouse on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Commissioner Chafoya.
I thank you for the presentation. It was very great seeing the amount of programs that you guys provide over the summers, and I'm just thinking of the impact that you're having on those kids that attend the programs and the elderly individuals that you provide events for. I do want to follow up on the shuttle question. So the Libraries and Community Service Commission department does not have the capability to provide shuttle services for any of the events that they host. For example, the Toro Park event that happened.
No, my answer to that question was specific to the seniors. We aren't transporting, we aren't picking up a van full of seniors from the firehouse to take them and transport them to the bread box. The city our department does have multiple transport vans, and so Toro Park, that's exactly how we transported them, was through our vans and the use of another set of vans from the Community Development Department, so we do that as well. And we're also currently exploring transportation contracts with some of our local school districts and other bus transportation companies as well, so that we can get back into the game of taking students and youth to field trips, potentially to a Giants game, we've gone to Great America. I don't know if Great America is even still in place, but those kinds of things. We've done that over the years many times.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. I do have a question for Andrew. Is that Andrew? Is that the right name?
Ernesto.
Ernesto. Okay, sorry. Right. So I saw in one of the first few presentations there was a logo or emblem for the Friends of the Library, and my question to you is, do they play any role in any of the events that you host at the library?
We certainly invite them over to participate in our programs. They are pivotal in the Kinder Boot Camp program. They do apply for a grant that we have been receiving for over 7 years from the Pebble Beach Foundation. So they help submit the grant and provide the funds to be able to provide supplies and materials for that program, which does include a backpack and school supplies for them to start on the first day of school.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Talking about grants, are there any other events that are supported through grant money?
That's the primary grant that we have for the summer in particular. There are times smaller grants that we have had in the past, including for activities during the summer lunch program. But those have fluctuated throughout the years. We have been able to maintain programming that we had through some of those grants in the past to be able to provide services without the grants themselves. So we really always try to look at sustainability. If we apply for a grant, we hope to still be able to continue that program or service that we offer. So it's not something that we're having events or programs that go away whenever grants go away. So that's something that we always play into the programs that we bring to the library.
Thank you for that. And did I hear that all your events are free?
Yes, for the library, all of our events are free, and it really is how most of our programming is planned. So we make sure that we budget for all the activities and the field trips that we offer our participants.
Got it. And for the events that that were at the library, and so did any of them hit like capacity or something?
We're always at capacity for a lot of our adult programs, and those do require registration. For example, we have a flower arrangement program coming up in a couple weeks. For that one, we only have 30 slots because we get flowers and we have an agency that helps do the program. That program filled up within 5 minutes. So a lot of our adult programs do reach capacity. We also have some family literacy-based programs for families going through our either computer classes, English classes, or citizenship programs. Those have limited spots that we're able to offer 7-week-long programs for that. So there are certain programs that do get filled.
Thank you for that. And I guess you're receiving that feedback, and then I guess it's helping you maybe decide how you're going to, run the summer program next year.
Yes, so we've learned over the years that we need to have a good mix of registration-based versus drop-in options. Our Storytime in the Park was something that we tried 1 year, 3 or 4 years ago, and something that we kept because we heard very positive feedback about. Our evening and weekend family game fests are something that we have continued as well due to positive feedback. And every summer we try to offer different types of programs so that there's variety, and we have some of our regulars continuing to come, but also appealing to interest of newcomers who haven't been at the library for a period of time.
Thank you for that. I do have some questions for Vivian. Hope I said that right. Okay. So for the events that are held in the recreational spaces, how are the events disseminated? Is it through social media? Is it through an email blast?
You mean programming or
As far as, like-
specific of, are you speaking to like special events that we may have, or?
Events overall, and how are they disseminated to the public to try to get, invite them to the events?
So we do flyers at our recreation sites. We do social media. We have a civic rec program as well, which is our registration program that we use for sports. And so we have many families that are signed up via email to receive notifications. So we use a variety of methods of getting out notices to families and participants. We'll use the school district. We'll ask them to send out flyers for specific recreation centers located near those schools, so they know that we have drop-in programs for them. So a lot of the schools will send out an email blast to their families.
Thank you. I'm very, very impressed with that. Question for you: how do you kind of like distinguish what events you'll offer for free and what events you'll charge? For example, like the karate class, there was a fee for that. Is it just to recoup costs, or?
So there are only a couple of programs where we actually charge a minimal fee, and it is minimal. So like karate is $40 a month, and compared to other karate places that offer that specific class, where it's a little bit more high in cost. And so for the most part, that is a paid instructor. So he comes in and he does the class. We do take a portion of his fees, but that is a fee that we worked with the contractor to come up with that particular fee, which is the karate class. But for sports, where most of our fees come from, again, those are minimal fees, and it really just doesn't really cover our staffing. We're never, making a profit But it may cover, we offer a photo packet for any league games or league sports. So basketball, soccer, those we have a small picture packet, and then it probably cover like their uniforms. So it just depends, right? So soccer will come with the full socks, shorts, a shirt, and a photo packet.
So just if I could add as well, where the library has traditionally always offered free programs. I think you go to any library and all the programming is free there. Recreation usually has a combination of fee-based activities and free activities. In many jurisdictions, their fee-based programs outweigh their number of free programs. Salinas, we're fortunate. We have very few fee-based programs. Those are typically our evening classes, like Vivian mentioned karate. In the past, we've had Zumba. Many years ago, when I worked at El Dorado Park back in the 90s, we had dog training. So there's been a number of fee-based classes that occur in the evenings. Youth sports is traditionally a fee-based effort. And so, as Vivian mentioned, they offer a number of leagues, clinics, camps, those kinds of things, and those typically are fee-based. But as Vivian mentioned, they are reasonably priced. They do cover the temporary employee costs, all of our hard costs. So your temporary employees, your uniforms, your equipment, picture packets, as she mentioned. The full-time staff who coordinate and manage those and organize those activities, those are general fund-based employees. So the full-time salaries are not incorporated into those fees.
Okay, thank you for that. And is there any particular day that you see being, I guess, most successful for like people to turn out for one of these events? Is it a Saturday on the weekend? Is it a Monday in the morning?
You know, it varies. I think it just depends on like what we're offering for the day and who's interested in that one particular program. So like our senior program in the morning is so popular. We see everybody coming in from like 8 to noon, and if they're staying longer through bingo on Mondays and Fridays, you know. So again, it just depends. After school program our numbers have increased, and so we see a lot of kids who are coming in from after school, who are waiting for the facility to open, not primarily just to do homework, but just to come in and socialize, hang out, and see what's going on, play basketball, play pool. So there's a variety of things that are happening. We do have a teen scene program that occurs Saturday evening, and we get a lot of kids coming in at the Bread Box and the Salinas Rec Center are the only two facilities. And so we do see a lot of kids who want to pick up basketball game or volleyball, because those are, you know, those two facilities are able to offer that specific sport. But for the most part, it really just, you know, depends on who's looking for what program. Karate is very popular. We have at least 40 kids registered, and it varies in attendance just depending on, you know, maybe what's going on for that evening for them, because it is an evening after school program, so from 6 to 8. So, you know, again, it varies, and attendance does fluctuate, so I can't really say that there's one more popular program to a different one. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you for your honest answer.
Yeah.
I have one last question, and this is for Morgan.
Monica?
Monica. Okay. For the Yagi applications, of the 36 that were, I guess, allowed into the program, how is that capacity determined?
So really, it's just we have a registration, and it's based off of like how many we can accommodate. We have we use the West Wing here, so it's a classroom size room. So really, we try to we would take 40 max, but really we couldn't like accommodate more than 40 for that program. And then they're in a council setting like this. Most of the participants all of them participated in the mock council meeting, whether they were on council, the mayor, community development director, or public comment. So it's really just trying to get the most out of their participation, is why we have that number set at 40.
And I would just add that it's a very intensive program. So it's 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's 3.5 hours a day. So it's an extensive period of time. And so I think that's a unique feature of that program as well. And I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, so it's pretty long, and there's high expectations. For the most part, most of your participants are already very civically engaged. Yeah, but it's really a great program. We have explored expanding the program. Maybe it's something that happens at a later time, but there's a lot of opportunity. We typically have a wait list, and again, it comes down to the space and amenities that we have to be able to accommodate.
Okay, thank you for that. I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys do. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. And now we come to asking if there's any members of our public that wishes to make a comment on the summer programs. Hearing none, we'll move on. We go to the commissioner's report. You want to go first?
I don't have anything at this time. Just again, thank you for the wonderful summer programs.
Thank you. Commissioner?
I just wanted to thank you for the updates you guys made to the picnic tables at the Cesar Chavez Park. They had termites, and I believe they've been replaced, so thank you.
Commissioner Nancy Gutierrez?
Yes. I would like to also thank you for your great work during the summer. You guys are awesome, doing so many things, planning, just making sure that everything goes the right way. Thank you. And also, I would like to invite you. I know that what's his name? The city lawyer, Chris, he mentioned this, but on Sunday at 11, there will be a ribbon cutting for the Ensign Community Park, and the parking is at Montoro School. So there will be a ceremony, music, food vendors, games, and also community resource booth. So anybody that can attend, please do so. And that's it for me. Thank you.
What was the time?
It's gonna be from 11 to 3.
Thank you.
And the ribbon cutting specifically would take place, that ceremony piece will take place from 12:30 to 1:30.
And now, Commissioner Chafoya, you have any public comment?
Yes, I have a couple things that I'd like to mention. One, relating to the Ensign Community Park. So, before the ribbon cutting and everything begins, the Big Sur Land Trust will be hosting a volunteer event starting at 10 a.m. Volunteers will get first-hand, view of the park itself, and they will be helping with stewarding and site preparation for the grand opening of the community park. You could find more information at the Big Sur Land Trust webpage under their events page, and there is a registration in order to attend the volunteer event. And be at 10 o'clock, so an hour before the celebration begins for the new park. Second thing that I'd like to mention is that I passed around the incident report and notices issued for the Salinas Public Library for the last year's quarter. And so just bringing that to your attention, and I'd like to respectfully request that there be another one of these created for quarter one, exactly just like this one here under a consent item. So it doesn't have to be, I guess, presented. It just has to be, just shown and acknowledged by this commission under the consent items, consent agenda. And then third thing, I passed a second flyer, and this is regards to sidewalk art. And as you could see, there's some that lie within walking distances from recreational areas of the city of Salinas and libraries. So, for example, you have the Red Pony painting, artwork right in front of the Cesar Chavez Library. So the presentation there that I printed out kind of gives you a little bit of background on how that all occurred. And there's actually, the artwork is interactive. So there is a booklet that you can download, and there's some games that you could play with the artwork. And I printed out one copy. Maybe we can have it placed at the Cesar Chavez Library, or have a digital copy available somewhere in our webpage. That would be great. And last thing, I signed up to receive updates from the Californian, and there has been a couple of great article headlines that I've seen regarding public libraries, and one of the headline reads as, let's see here. I think this is the headline. So the California reported that Salinas libraries were not significantly impacted by the federal funding cut from the state. So meaning that really all the programs, the day-to-day operations of the libraries is still intact, and it can still continue to operate really almost seamlessly, regardless of all the conversation that you hear from federal and state government regarding cuts to grants and such things of that nature. And last thing, I did attend the Northgate ribbon cutting. It was on Saturday, July 12th. I was very happy to be there. That's it for me.
Thank you, fellow commissioners. And now we'll turn this time to our Director Lundquist.
Thank you. So the first thing I want to start out with is an introduction of a new staff person who we kind of skipped over on the agenda. And so I want to thank her for staying here for the bulk of the meeting so that we could introduce her. This is Anastasia DeBoer. She is our Technology Services Manager. I'm pleased to say that she is a staff person that we grew from within. She started out as a library clerk. She then promoted to a librarian 1, and then now has been in this role 2-3 months, roughly 2 months. So we're pleased to be able to grow our own team and keep them here and give them opportunities to expand their roles within the library. So thank you, Anastasia, for being here and staying for the bulk of the meeting. And then just a couple of things. Thank you for pointing out Ensign Park. You may recall that is been a significant partnership between the city and the Big Sur Land Trust. We are going to be acquiring that property. You may recall that from previous discussions. And so effective Monday, the operation and maintenance is part of our system, and we'll be maintaining and taking care of that wonderful asset for this community going forward. So it is, the grand opening is Sunday, the 17th, from 11 to 3, with the ceremony between 12:30 and 1:30. You do all have had a number of new commissioners come on, and so you do have the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Master Plan that was adopted by the City Council in 2019. So there's a copy for all of you on the dais as well. And we just still have a number of great projects that are underway, right? So I would encourage anyone who wants to see our wonderful Hebron Family Center, drive by 683 Fremont Street, and you'll get to see it's going up. It's under construction. We're really excited. We did a tour earlier in the week. We are still set to be complete in December, so we look forward to hosting a huge celebration in either end of December, January, depending on the holidays, how that works out. Closher Park is still under construction. Moving forward there, same with the restrooms and the boxing club have been repaired. We're getting ready to kick off construction for the final phase of the Natividad Creek Park restrooms, so it'll be nice to get that done so we can get those restrooms open there as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Lundquist. And now, just want to ask our Secretary Devon to confirm Commissioners' availability for September 10th meeting. She doesn't have to do it right now, but just wanted to let her know.
The next regular,
Formalities. So come to the last item is our meeting is adjourned, and it's a long meeting.
If we
but-
could, Chair Fong, we do want to confirm attendance, so she'll handle it from here.
Okay, thank you.
the next regular meeting of the Library and Community Services Commission is scheduled for Wednesday, September 10th at 6 p.m. At this time, I will call the roll. Please respond yes if you plan to attend the meeting, or no if you will be unable to attend. Commissioner Tafoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Cervantes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Garcia?
When was the date?
September 10th.
Yes.
Commissioner Castillo? Commissioner Fong?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. And now, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.